Hi, my name is April Allison. I am currently enrolled in the UNCG course IPS 302, Systems Thinking. At the beginning of this course, I knew immediately what I wanted to do my project on, the transportation system at Brookdale. Currently, I work for Brookdale Senior Living, which is an assisted living facility in High Point, North Carolina. The transportation system is used to transport residents to their primary care provider, dental appointments, vision appointments, appointments set by specialists, and therapy, which are physical and mental therapy appointments. There are only two drivers within the entire transportation system. The two drivers are responsible for appointments for all four of the senior living buildings in our organization. On average, each building has about 40 residents, in which these two drivers have about 120 residents to make appointments for. During this project, I took time to interview various stakeholders. I interviewed a resident named Leah Henry. Leah Henry is a resident who pays about $2,500 a month to stay at Brookdale Assisted Living. In her interview, Leah discussed several problems within the Brookdale Assisted Living transportation system. She feels that she pays way too much money, and she feels that she would like to go to the movies or to Walmart or Hobby Lobby and not just to doctor's appointments. I feel that I pay a lot of money to live here and should be able to go more than to the doctor's office more than once a month. I also interviewed Dominique. Dominique is a new driver at Brookdale. I also interviewed her during this process. She already feels overwhelmed and she has not been with the Brookdale transportation system 90 days yet. She has all the nurses from all four buildings calling her to make an appointment. And because we are very short staffed. When she cannot commit to transporting the residents, she feels that everyone will be disappointed in her. Lastly, I interviewed Serena. Serena is one of our more seasoned drivers. She's been with Brookdale Senior Living for a little over a year now, so she knows the process. She knows the ins and outs and the downfalls, the pros and cons of the Brookdale transportation system. Since Serena is the more seasoned driver, she is responsible for ensuring that the residents get to their appointments. Sometimes even she gets overwhelmed thinking about the 120 residents that need to go to doctor's appointments. On average, just about 10 appointments a day. So within this project, I've thought about a few solutions. So first, I've done an archetype for a um, fix or fail fix or fail archetype. Um, Basically, this archetype demonstrates how, since there's such a demand for appointments, that we will only schedule appointments for urgent needs. Like if a resident has a fall, or they have like a urinary tract infection, or just something really serious and pressing, we will schedule those appointments right now. That does alleviate the schedule because the amount of resident appointments will go down. However, the unintended consequences of this is that if we keep only scheduling the urgent appointments, eventually we're missing preventative care appointments, and that can cause more serious healthcare problems for other residents too. Since the driving schedule is overwhelming because we only have two drivers, our temporary solution is to schedule urgent appointments. This does alleviate the problem temporarily, but not completely. Eventually, this creates future problems for the residents. Since preventative care is not a priority, we have created a situation where this PCP, the primary care provider, cannot catch less serious symptoms or conditions. This leads to more serious or urgent health conditions later, and they can even be life threatening. And then eventually, this means that we will have more urgent appointments to schedule later, compacting that schedule even further. Um, in this course, we talked about the payoffs and trade-offs of different solutions. So a payoff is, even though there are problems within the Brookdale assisted living transportation system, there is a payoff to keeping the status quo. And status quo just means keeping things like they are, not making any changes. Keeping the status quo means that Brookdale will save money. If we hired more drivers, we will likely need to lay off and eliminate positions to make room in the budget for new drivers. The payoff in keeping the status quo or keeping the system the same is that other direct care employees do not need to face layoff. And lastly, I thought of a long term solution, even though right now hiring new drivers is not an option. One of the things that residents have also complained about within the transportation system is communication. They do get appointments, but it seems like nurses and drivers don't communicate appointment information until about 15 minutes before the appointment. The appointment feels rushed. The resident feels rushed and feel like they don't have any time to get ready. So I have thought of a long-term solution that might help with this. I think that there should be a resident appointment request portal for the Brookdale transportation system. It is a communication system that all nurses and all drivers can use to communicate with each other through one system. Nurses can input a request for a resident appointment, and they can even give it a priority like a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, a level 4. That will indicate urgency and how soon they need an appointment. The drivers can schedule appointments based on their personal schedules, and then the nurses can see that the appointments have been made, and then they can communicate the appointment information to the resident. In conclusion, over this course, I have learned the difference between a system and a collection of parts. A collection is simply a pile of different parts. They might not even have a purpose yet. But a system is when these parts start to work together for one intended purpose. For example, like a car, that could be like a collection of parts until you put them all together. And the intended goal is to get from point A to point B. We also use archetypes in this course. My favorite one, or the most simple archetype, was fixes that fail. It basically means like you find a simple solution, like a band-aid solution, to fix the problem, but over time you continue to use this simple fix cost you more money, and in the long run you could have just simply pay for that part. In close contact with the professor, he gave me an example. You might have a pipe that leaks, but you put maybe a seal around it that holds a couple days, and every couple days you have to fix that seal in the leak and replace that seal, and then that just creates more problems. It also wastes more money because really you could have just spent maybe $500 to hire a plumber and really fix the fail versus wasting material and resources to fix that one leak. I did enjoy this course. It was challenging in the beginning, but I'm glad I stuck with it to learn about systems thinking. Thank you.